Okay, so welcome everyone to today's webinar. I'm very happy to be joined here today by four women business owners who have very different businesses and have either figured out a way to deal with the current crisis that's presented by the coronavirus, or are still trying to figure it out. Um, right now at this very moment, there are thousands of business owners and self-employed people who have seen their income practically disappear overnight or decrease significantly. This experience, of course, brings a lot of anxiety and fear about the future. Myself and other business advisors from this region, from other organizations listed on the screen, we'll be releasing a series of webinars aimed at helping you think about potential strategies to see your way out of this mess. And we're here to support you. So this webinar is being brought to you by all of the partners listed on our screen, including the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center, SCORE, Center for Women Enterprise, Masrose Capital Corporation, Valley Community Development, Common Capital, and Franklin CDC. Many of them are joining us on this webinar today. And yeah, you can see the notes too. Excellent. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for letting me know that. Hold on. Let me see if I can make okay, there we go. That's a little better, huh? You can actually see the presentation as opposed to see all my notes and everything. But now you know I was well prepared for today's webinar. So without further ado, let's get started. So I'm today's moderator, Regional Director for the Small Business Development Center. And I am joined here today by Annie from Hearty Eats. She has a business up in Shelburne Falls, and she's going to tell you more about herself in just a minute. Also joined by April Marion. She's owner of Movin Fitness in South Hadley, Massachusetts. And Vicki Gray, owner of New Chapter Home Improvement in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Welcome, ladies. Yes, and I'm going to mute you there, April. April, can you unmute yourself? You're muted currently right now. So.
Here we go.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yes.
Hi, guys. So I'm April, and I'm here with my business partner, Charlene.
Yeah, excellent. And so we're going to get started next with a few questions that I have prepared here for you. Here's the questions. I would like to first introduce yourself and your business, describe what your business was like prior to COVID-19 and what you have done to pivot and what has been the customer reactions. So who wants to go first?
I'm happy to go first.
All right, Andrea, you go first. I'm going to stop the sharing so people can see and hear you. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, my name is Andrea. I go by Annie, and I own a health food, fast food concept up in Shelburne Falls. So we already had, prior to COVID-19, basically what we offer is local, fast, fresh, as affordable as possible food for eat-in or take-out. So we already had like an online ordering system set up. We already, did a lot of takeout. So our whole operation was set up for pickup, takeout already. So I don't know if you want to know, should I elaborate more, or is that sufficient?
Please. Tell us a little bit, like, what's been the reaction of your customers to the changes that you made so far? How hard has it been to make the changes that you've made?
Yeah. So it's been like a play-by-play of what morally and ethically is the right thing to do. We're serving food, and so before the mandate started coming out, I had started a group text with all the restaurants in our area, kind of like, let's start talking about this, and who's doing what, who knows what. And so one of my employees had actually suggested, why don't we just do online ordering only and pickup only? And she suggested that kind of before everything really started getting set in motion. So that was a good idea. So we enacted that the Friday before that was mandated anyway on Sunday. So we switched to online ordering only. And what we decided was no cash and no in-house purchases at all, like no credit cards, no touching the screen or anything. So that Friday we barricaded our doors, put up tables, and we just said, if you want to order from us, order online, or we'll take a credit card over the phone and just sign for you. And then your food will be on a table and you can take it and leave it, or take it, and go. So that's how we started kind of in this process. And as we started doing that, right, all the kind of, like the crazy cleaning and customers sitting in the hallway and touching the bathroom and like just this kind of crazy sanitize and stressful, like it's like emotionally stressful for staff, and just kind of knowing what's right and knowing how to like keep ourselves safe so that we're, not contaminating our customers with anything also. So it's been a lot of day by day, just kind of new game, new play, new way. And so we started evolving that model as we felt like it wasn't good enough, where we ended up really encouraging curbside pickup. So we're telling customers to call us when they're out back and put the food in their trunk. And then the other thing we started doing is we had originally barricaded our front door, which is in like a shared hallway. And so we moved those tables where there was a pickup area right to outside our front door. So like people open the door and there's kind of a table there they can grab and leave. And we're asking for one person at a time. We're looking into delivery, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. And we ultimately decided that, we can close. It would be way less stressful. It'd be way easier in a lot of ways to just say, we're going to close till this thing passes. But we felt like we had the ability to offer this really hands-free, touch-free service. And we already had the online ordering in place, and, people still have to eat. It's kind of like a core function. And not everybody knows how to cook for themselves. So we decided to just keep trying it and be as safe as possible. Meanwhile, what we decided to do was, because sales really did drop after, Trump had declared a national emergency that first time.
Right.
So I started thinking about that. And what we started doing also was just listing all of our produce that we had available for sale as grocery items. And we really pivoted into an online grocery store. So we just yesterday, we got like some bigger deliveries in based on the premise that people are taking us up on this opportunity. So instead of going to the grocery store, they can just order their groceries online, and still utilize our curbside pickup. And we've had a really positive response to that, because going to the grocery store is a really stressful thing to do right now. And there's just so much unknown, right? You don't know. And that's the stress of the unknown is, I think, like the hardest part of this whole thing. Like I could be sick and not show symptoms. So I could be contaminating anybody at any given moment, or somebody around me is contaminated. And so there seems to be like,
yeah, quick question for you, from one of our this is everything that you've said. Thank you so much for sharing with us. You mentioned that you've made quite a few changes. You become an online store. Have you reduced staff and their hours as a result?
Yeah, and so what we decided to do with reduced sales is we used to be open 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. That was like our current hours of operation. So we just trimmed that down to 12 to 7 to really be available during those core hours that people were looking for prepared food service anyway. And then
how are you communicating that?
So a few ways, like we're posting it on Facebook. It's on our online store because people can only order from the phone or our online store right now. Our main focus is keep the online store updated and accurate. Be like kind of prepared for our grocery, like trying to like reassess, like streamline our grocery filling ordering process, like pre-weighing stuff. Those have been our two main focuses right now. But
just so that everybody knows, I just posted Annie's website on the chat. So if you want to check out more about her business, it's heartyeats.org. I posted it on the chat. Annie, we have another question here. Let's see here. Okay, never mind. I already asked the question. It was
Yeah.
just how are you communicating the changes to your customers? And we have Gail on the webinar here. She says she runs a small Jamaican cuisine eatery, and she has
Yeah.
always had an online DoorDash Uber option, but she's seen a slowdown in orders online as well. Are others seeing the same? Are you seeing the same, Annie?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody is right now. And like I said, like I'm not eating out right now. I'm cooking at home. And I think most people are cooking at home. And I think that the people who are still getting to go food probably don't really know how to cook at home or have that ability or knowledge, and they want better options, or they just don't feel like they need to be super careful, or I don't know what I can only speculate, but yeah, I think it is wise to not expose yourself if you don't have to right now. And that's part of why we switched to a grocery model. It's like, at least we can, like, my approach to this has been, what do people need right now and how can we meet that demand?
Great.
So if we can create a safe, comfortable buying experience, like let's just become a grocery store. And we're still selling some of both. We're still doing prepared foods. We haven't stopped doing that yet. I think if the grocery thing really ends up getting out of control, we might just abandon prepared foods for a little while. But every day is kind of a reevaluation.
Right.
What happened yesterday? What do we think is going to happen today?
Right. And are you having any problems? We have a question here. Amy asked, are you having any problems receiving orders from vendors?
From vendors? Well, that's interesting. I mean, there's been a little bit of out of stock, right? But I think a huge reality to like the shortages in the supermarkets is that everybody eats every day, and they're just now changing how they eat. So from the universities to restaurants, that probably made up at least 50% of the food demand. And that's a completely rough, I have no idea number, but it's a large number. So for all those people to all of a sudden be getting all their food from the grocery stores, it's not that the food's not out there, it's that the supply chain is not aligned to that model. So everybody's kind of been in a reroute. So there's a lot of distributors whose primary customers were restaurants and or universities. They're starting to serve the supermarkets, right? So they overnight lost a lot of customers, but then are starting to gain the customers from the grocery stores. So because we're a restaurant and like most of our suppliers just kind of lost all their revenue streams overnight, we have been able to order pretty easily through them. And it's another reason, if more restaurants were doing what we were doing, it would keep those supply chains alive and intact for now. So that's kind of my thought on that. And yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing, Annie. So we're going to move on real quick. Vicky, April, who wants to go next? April, you need to unmute yourself.
I can go.
Oh, or Vicky's going to go then? Oh, who's going to go? All right, April, go ahead. You went like this first, so I'm going to go with the wave.
So what is
we couldn't hear you.
No, that's
so
great.
I posted on the questions. So the questions are, first, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business. What was it like prior to COVID-19? What have you done to pivot, and how have your customers reacted?
Okay. So I'm April Marion, and this is my business partner, Charlene, and we're Movin Fitness and Nutrition. And we are a group fitness studio that offers nutrition solutions for our members with like nutrition plans and meal planning, supplements, and of course support. And prior to COVID-19, we were moving our business, which was in a very small studio where when we first set out, our goal was to just have a few students in the studio and have a very large virtual presence. So our main goal at that point was to do a lot of our coaching online using things like Zoom and other platforms and using social media. But after a few years of doing that, we realized that we had some bigger ideas, and we moved into a much larger location, and our goal went from being online 6 to 7 hours a day and teaching, 2 to 3 hours. We decided in person, we decided we would switch that around and be more hands-on
into our live class.
more in the studio. But so we were all game for that. We planned on having a delicious shake bar, and we have a beautiful brand new studio. And a week after we opened, this hit, and we were forced to close down all health clubs. So we decided we'd go back to our old game plan, and we've just been. We were very fortunate that when we were moving, we asked all our students who were monthly members to upgrade to yearly memberships, and most of them did. And thankfully, because we have a little bit of a cushion now, we're not worried about anyone leaving, and we're not really worried about them wanting money back or anything either, because we're still supporting them online. We're working out with our members every day. We still contact them, and we use Zoom to meet with them and also to do live classes. So we haven't changed our schedule. We just do our classes on video. So it's just Charlene and I here. We are not allowing any students in, unfortunately.
Right. And so, April, how have you communicated this shift to your customers?
So we have a huge presence on Facebook. We have a group of 700 or more women only, who are all our students. They're, our tribe, our people, our customers, or our prospects. And we just let them know that way. We also use email, Messenger.
Great. And what has been their reaction to going from studio in person to doing the virtual classes? Have you gotten good attendance at those?
We have a few. Yeah, every class we do have a few, and we are doing like at least two a day. We are, our students are like, how can we help?
They're still very supportive. They continue to, reach out to us, ask what they can do, how they can help us, bring in donations to help out.
Yeah, we're like, one of our students donated bananas and peanut butter and things like to get our shake shop going, because we're hoping we can do curbside pickup for some of our nutrition products, at the very least. I'm not really sure how that works, because we do have all of our stuff in, as far as like the town goes, but everyone's shut down. So I don't really know how that will work, but we're just playing it by ear. We're going to continue to have our grand opening, which was set for April 4th. It's just going to be done virtually. So we'll probably do like an event on Facebook and offer throughout the day specials. Go live, have free classes on that event, and just offer some really good deals, if not for now, for the future.
Right. Great. I see a hand up. Jennifer Bogan, do you have a question? You can unmute yourself.
Sorry, I didn't mean to raise my hand. I did have a question though. Can I ask it?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I was wondering if you guys offered your students discounts, since so many of them probably couldn't afford the services. Like, to be honest, I would love to do something like that right now, but I couldn't do a year's subscription. So did you guys offer like a discount for doing the year or anything like that?
Yeah, so I personally don't think that it's important to go ahead and reach out to your current members and offer them discounts off of what they've already paid for, because they want to support you. If they are in hardship, they'll definitely ask. I also think that there are a lot of people right now who are struggling with the economy. Like, for instance, anybody in the food service industry, maybe like bartenders, waitresses, people like that who just have no income now, they're just screwed. They feel like that, but they want to still exercise. So like someone like that, I would offer a scholarship to without a problem. And again, the scholarship is something that they would pay back when they get back on their feet.
April, I've also heard many small business owners that are in the services industry, whether it's fitness, restaurants, what have you. They're always they're selling gift certificates. Either buy one get one free, or get a gift certificate now, use it later, or use it for online. Is that something you've considered as well?
Oh,
absolutely. Many other
absolutely.
people doing?
Yeah, I believe that when we do our open house, we're going to have a lot of options like that, because they are asking like, what can we do? What can we do? So right now we have a really great sale. So we're just saying, buy ahead. We've also discounted our classes so that if they do get them online, they're less money. They don't have to come in here. They're 50% off. So like where we would have one class for 10, it might only be 5. And we have like a monthly package, so they can do like the whole month and get all of the classes. So, and we're keeping it very reasonable.
Right.
And again, we're just doing the best we can. We had some trouble, like our music doesn't always sound the best, and like it's not perfect, and there might be a little glitch in the timing, but everyone's just kind of rolling with it. Today we did a real funny one outside. We put up like this windy guy because we're next to Taylor Rental. And so we asked him if he would bring him out, and we went outside and we danced in front of him. And, you just got to have fun with it.
Great. Excellent. So we have someone raise their hand. Chrissy?
Yes. Hi, how are you guys doing today?
Yeah, you have a question?
I do. You had mentioned when you were speaking about your open house that you were planning on doing a virtual open house, and that you may extend that to other individuals. Is that something that you would mind sharing with us so we could possibly join if we had an opportunity?
Oh, absolutely. That would be great.
So if there's a link or something that we can connect to, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, it's on there right now, and it's called, Open House with Get Moving, but I'll definitely share it with you. And if you,
I believe it's
we have the for all of the participants who register for this webinar, any both the PowerPoint presentation and any other links that are shared by some of the speakers. I'll make sure that you get those.
Yeah.
Super.
Thank you.
Okay, great. We do have a question in the chat. Monsieur asked to all of the participants, hold on, are you leasing your current space? And if yes, how are you supplementing expenses?
We are not leasing our space. We haven't actually lost any money yet. And I don't want to.
So wait, to clarify, you are renting a space, but you're not subletting it. You're not having other people come in and pay you to use your studio.
No, not right now. I mean, I don't think we legally can have anybody in here. As far as I know from the laws, or that were passed by the governor, he's saying that unless it's her and I, like no one else can be in here. It's because we are a health facility. So we rent and we lease our space out. So, and we're just in here. We're kind of selfish with it right now. We're just enjoying doing our videos and trying to get our shake stuff ready. In time, yeah, sure. We would love to allow maybe like a massage therapist in here or another few other instructors. We definitely have been reaching out to more instructors also. So we're getting them ready to come in for, once we get back. And I don't know how long this is going to last.
Right.
I know someone had asked that in the comments, how far ahead we're planning. And for me personally, we're planning like we normally would do, like a month to 2 weeks ahead, but we're prepared for if we can't be open, what are we gonna do?
Right. We have one other question here. How have you handled having children around in the classes? This attendee wants to exercise but finds it impossible with her kid.
Good question. So we just implemented a schedule for next week where our workouts include kids. Yeah, so we have a WOW workout, which is real easy for anyone to do, and it's 10 stations for a minute each, and you can do them at home with your kids. And then we're doing a Zumba Kids recording live, so you can play that all week, do it with your kids. I would say nap time, go outside. I ran a daycare for 20 years, so good luck. My kids are teenagers and in their 20s now, so I come here for a reason because I don't really, yeah, you got to just do it. And it's fun, you know, you embrace it. You're on the floor with the dog, you're on the floor with the kids. And I think the most important thing is that the kids see that you continue to work out. Because I know for me, my son's home right now. He's 13 years old. The last thing he cares about is gym class. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm really concerned with him getting enough exercise.
Yeah.
So
and we have one last question here before we move on to Vicky, so that we give her a chance also to introduce herself and talk about her business. There's another question here from Amy Porcelli. You're awesome at what you do. What technology do you use to optimize your video presentations?
So thank you for the compliment. I don't feel so awesome about my videos right now. We have about 2 weeks of recordings. And one of our students is like begging us to download that so she can upload them to YouTube and kind of make them better, you know, to cut them. What I would recommend using is a webcam and your computer to do any recording. And then I would just upload them to something like YouTube, make it private, and then cut it that way.
Yeah, and then I would also recommend, just as I am also learning about all of this technology, you know, lighting is important and sound is important. Mm-hmm. So getting yourself an external microphone that can reach where you're at, if you're in a room and farther away from the computer, is important. Yeah. If you're in front of the computer, a headset or an external microphone might help as well. So, right. But you're just using Zoom, right? April and Charlene, you're just using Zoom right now?
Yeah, our Zumba company that we belong to, they actually released a platform just for us just this week. So I can't wait for that because Zoom has been glitchy. From when I usually use it to now, every now and then we get popped out.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's move on to Vicky. Vicky from New Chapter Home Improvement. Again, same questions for you as well, my friend. Tell us about your business and how you've, how were you doing before COVID-19? What are you doing now that might be different? If you're doing anything different at all, and how have your customers responded to you?
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I hope this webinar finds you safe and healthy during this difficult time. So my name is Vicky. I am the owner of New Chapter Home Improvement. We specialize in interior and exterior painting services. We also offer maintenance services and apartment turnovers as well. I have over 20 years experience in the construction and home improvement industry. I believe what makes me, myself, and the business different is that we bring a unique touch to the construction and home improvement industry. The industry is male dominant, so there are a lot of concerns when hiring contractors. So that's what sets us apart from any other home improvement company. We've been in business now for about 7 years, and we are based out of Cambridge, Massachusetts. We are certified on many levels with the federal government. We are also certified as a minority women's-owned business on the state and local level as well. So I'm going to start with the second question. What was the business like prior to this crisis? Prior, we were growing rapidly. Sales were increasing about 40 to 50%. We were meeting all of our profit margins. And in February, Valentine's Day, actually, the business and myself was actually featured in the Boston Business Journal, which then was a blessing because the requests came in nonstop. So many people wanted to support minority women-owned businesses. And then weeks after, I love finance. So I was watching the crisis back in China. So I knew automatically if something was spreading that fast and rapidly, that it was going to hit us next. So with that being said, I had started working with a lot of my mentors. I do have business plans in place because we've been in business now for 7 years. And we, with all the cancellations, with the uncertainty of the economy, and still today, we don't know where we're going. It made more sense for the protection of myself, my employees, and the clients we serve to temporarily close our shop. To me, I do not consider home improvement as an essential business. It's kind of remodeling. These are things that can wait, I believe. We do offer emergency services under my federal certification. I do have the ability now to respond to disaster relief under maintenance, which we are now planning to draft a plan because we got to catch 22. There's a stay in place order and employees are scared. Clients are frightened. And they also have the option of filing for unemployment and being safe at home. So we're working with different vendors to see if that's an area that we want to break into. Because any area we break into, there are going to be costs. And we still have occurring costs with the current business.
So just to clarify, Vicky, you're saying that you're going from your regular business model to now trying to pivot, focus more on the emergency maintenance services, and you're still not sure if you're actually going to do that given the current stay-at-home advisory and clients being frightened and even employees being frightened. Is this correct?
Yes and no. So we offer emergency maintenance services. Mm-hmm. However, now we have the opportunity to focus more on that. However, it's going to be taken up a notch if we respond with the federal government, because that's going to open a whole new due to their type of disaster projects. So that's the area that we're planning to see if it makes sense right now to dive into that, or should we just wait until after April 7th to see where our government officials are actually taking this, because they still seem to be uncertain.
So how have your customers reacted to this news of you closing your doors and only focusing on the emergency services?
Every single one of our clients have been understanding. We did have about 5 projects in play when we decided that we were going to have to stop. We reached out to every single client to speak with them personally. Some of those clients actually canceled prior to us closing our doors for safety of their selves. So it's just been love, patience, and understanding from all of our clients.
Right. Great. Thank you so much for sharing, Vicky. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the audience before I move on to some of the questions that were asked in the Q&A?
I would just, advise everybody, to look over your current expenses. Plan at least 3 to 6 months out to understand how much cost is going to occur within the next 3 to 6 months that you may not be able to get that revenue in. I was on a webinar yesterday with the Inner City Capital Connections, and they were saying that, there is a lot of loans out there. However, be mindful that a lot of people, unfortunately, at this time do not qualify. So you might have to look into other programs that are out there. There are business grants that they're offering, and to join and link up with local centers like the Center for Women in Enterprises. I believe there are staff who are willing to help with applications, help answer maybe like April's questions, if they can have someone in the facility or not. There is a lot of confusion. A lot of us small business owners have never experienced something like this on this magnitude. I would suggest reaching out to, lawyers and CPAs, certified public accountants, to get some strategies, as to how to navigate through this crisis, and so forth.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vicky. I appreciate that. The Center for Women in Enterprise is actually one of the organizations that's bringing this webinar to you. So is the Franklin County CDC, Valley Community Development, Common Capital, Mass Growth Capital Corporation, SCORE, and the Massachusetts Small Business Development Center Network. And all of those entities, I think, except for Common Capital, they're a community lender, a CDFI, but all of the other entities that I mentioned do offer technical assistance and business counseling. So if you want to know more about that, feel free to go to our website, msbdc.org, and check out the trainings, and all of the organizations are listed under the listing for this webinar. So there's a couple of questions here. There's a question here for, I think this is for April. April, if you don't mind unmuting yourself. Jennifer asked, did you offer your students discounts since many of them can't afford your services anymore?
Well, I don't really know, like, if anyone can't afford our services anymore, because, I mean, a lot of our students still are working from home, or, they have to get paychecks. But for the ones who do have need help, we certainly would offer a scholarship. But we do have our regular sales going on right now, which are really amazing.
Okay. So not really offering discounts right now, but you are offering the alternative to going to the studio. I think it's $30 a month, unlimited classes or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So you give them a really great value for right now for doing this from home with you. Okay, right. Great. We have another question here from Pam. She asks, how far have you been planning? I know nobody knows when this will be over, but from a leadership perspective, what are you projecting for time-wise? And this is for any of the panelists.
I will answer when I'm personally, when I'm planning something like this out. I'm going to try to plan out 6 months. I'm going to try to draft a budget, and I'm going to try to look at it worst case scenario. And then I'm going to also plan out a 1 to 3 month plan as well. I am also going to check in weekly to make sure I am meeting those targets. And if not, then I'm going to adjust in those areas that need adjustment.
Right. Great. Thank you so much, Vicki. Annie, I saw you unmuting yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on a, I would say daily and weekly budget plan at the moment. And what I'm doing to kind of make sure we're on track is I'm trying to track our sales as it relates to our percentages of cost and labor. So I'm looking at what my daily labor rates are as a percentage of our daily sales. And with our grocery model, kind of our costing structure changes a little bit because we're not marking things up the same way we do with prepared foods. So I'm just kind of keeping a pulse on my daily ratios, which translate to then weekly ratios. And it's, if at any point it seems like we're digging ourselves into a deeper hole than makes sense, we'll just stop operating. But right now it looks like what I'm able to do is I'm not employing all my staff right now, but the ones that I am, at least it's putting money in their pockets, even if we're just breaking even, because we'd be incurring rent, utilities, and insurance, all sorts of other expenses anyway if we were closed. So if we can even be breaking even and my employees can be taking home a paycheck, that's a win for me right now.
Okay, great. We have a question here from Pam as well. She asked if we know about any specific recovery grants or payments for women-run businesses. Pam, I'm going to send you my email, and I'm also going to post in the chat a link to the Western Mass Business Resource List. I just posted on the chat. It contains a lot of the resources available for all businesses here in Western Mass and for most of the state of Massachusetts. And I don't know of any of them that are specifically for women-owned businesses, but we will certainly make a note of that, possibly for another workshop, because that's a great question. So here's another question, ladies. So I think this question is for any of you, but possibly Vicki. Vicki, are you concerned with clients pulling projects? How will you deal with this?
The ongoing projects that we had to stop are fortunately under contract. So they will have to resume at one point of time. Right now, we have not taken on any new projects just because our doors are closed and we don't know what's going on. However, if it comes to that decision, we can definitely work something out. I totally understand in this crisis if they weren't able to move forward with a project because a deeper need is needed. I totally understand that. Right now, I do feel that new chapter home improvement is in a comfortable position as to where we stand.
Right. Have you been asked to give refunds for the projects?
No. A lot of our clients are commercial clients, folks that are more high-end clients. We work a lot with property management companies as well.
Okay, great. And let me ask a question to the other panelists as well. Someone here asked if you guys are refunding people for their services. Obviously, that may not apply to Annie because it's more online grocery. You order it, you get it, you buy it, you get it, the product. But for you, April, are you refunding any customers, or are you asking them to wait and see how things will turn out?
We have not been asked to refund any money, thankfully. But we're right
Oh,
next door to Taylor Rental, and they like lose $30,000 a day over there because of
wow.
parties and the graduations, and it's just been really crazy. So I do feel for other businesses.
Wait,
And
are you saying that people are still having parties and graduation?
oh, they've had to refund everything for all
Oh, okay, okay.
the
I'm sorry. Yeah.
months. So I understand how this can really hurt other small businesses. And I may have sounded like, oh, there's people struggling now, like, but I mean, I do get it. Yeah, I know that there are people struggling, and that might be something, we definitely have that on the table to, reach out to people and let them know, even if they're struggling, we're still here to help them with their fitness and their nutrition.
Right. Great. Thank you, April. We have two more questions here. We have a question from Maria. Maria says, I have a lawn care business and have been trying to contact the state and city to find out if we can work. All outside work, but 2 employees, in addition to myself and my husband. Is there a specific site or contact person I can contact? So Maria, the mass.gov, so mass.gov, I'll put in, if someone, let's see here, put it in the chat, is a website to go to look at the list of essential services. So you can see which are the businesses that are under the essential services category. And those folks can continue to provide services at this time. Everyone else needs to, it's been asked to stop the services. And let's see, so that would be the best place to go is mass.gov and get your list of essential services. And I think Vicky mentioned, I'm gonna pick on one of the answers that Vicky said, there are attorneys out there too that are giving advice as to, how to interpret some of those, interpret that list a little bit and see if you would qualify as an essential services for a part of your service. Just like Vicky talked about it, home improvement right now is non-essential, but emergency maintenance services are. So I would think lawn care, I haven't looked it up in the list, but I would think it's probably non-essential, but maybe there's some service that you offer that might be considered emergency service or maintenance. So hope that answers your question. Let's see, here's another question from Pat. When you do construction projects, what is your current process for deposits and payments, and will that differ moving forward? I think that question is for Vicky.
So we have 2 options. Clients will either put down half at the beginning, and then they would pay the other half at completion, or for other clients, it works a third, and a third. So before we start, it's either one of those. Will those change moving forward? No, we would always keep that same type of payment model, but those are on bigger projects. We have handyman services that's on the hourly too. So as soon as we complete those services, the payment is due at that time. So we wouldn't change any of our cash method way we accept payments.
Right. Thanks, Vicky. Thanks for sharing that. We have another question here. Moving our stuff to remote offerings. I find myself being conflicted on pricing. On one hand, we need to make up lots of revenue, of lost revenue. But so we need these new revenue streams desperately. But on the other hand, I see so many people offering free services at this time of crisis as a way to support people. Maybe we should be doing that too. So I guess it's an open question. What do you think?
I mean, it depends on what industry we're in, right? Some areas can offer free service or help. Other areas can't.
Right. What do you think, April and Annie, about offering free services or something free to clients during this time, even though you need that revenue desperately?
Yeah, I think as Vicky said, it kind of depends on the industry. I know that if we were to start offering free food, we would not be there very long. So I think if people are in a position to help, I know that I was talking to our local grocer and he said people were volunteering to deliver food to people's homes who didn't want to come to the grocery store. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to step up and help your fellow neighbor. And kind of along what April and Marion are doing, I do like a weekly Kundalini class and they have made it online as a donation basis. So I think there's definitely time and opportunity to reflect on morals, ethics, and what's right and wrong. You know, even if our state isn't mandating something, like, is it the right thing to do, right? So there's a lot of kind of rising to the occasion opportunities, I think.
Right. April, what do you think? Oh, you got to unmute yourself. There you go.
I think that, you know, we still have to be professionals and not lower our standards, because there is going to be a time when we come back and, you know, like in my case, I don't want everyone just to go online now and exercise. You know, so I want to make sure that they understand, you know, the both. And also we can't put ourselves in a position where we're offering our services for free and then again we go out of business tomorrow. You know, like Annie was saying, you know, can't only give out so much before it really affects you. So yeah, definitely we want to help our community. Like just, you know, for us, helping our community is things like, you know, offering some freebies online, or, you know, going outside and dancing in the street and letting everyone dance with us, you know, things like that. But not necessarily, you know, handing out like free shakes and, you know, things that would really be hard, but certainly, you know, maybe driving food or just reaching out. We've offered to do like some classes with like the nursing homes and stuff where we'll just stream it, or maybe for kids. We were thinking about like for kids who are home and can't go to gym class, like that's not going to hurt our revenue. It's not going to change what we actually offer, but it's just something additional that we can offer during this time of crisis.
Right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
I have one more question here. Let's see. What is the best way to ask for past due payments from customers, or is the best business decision not to ask? Who wants to take that one?
I believe there's always a nice way to ask for something. There's a way that you can kindly explain in a professional manner that at this time this is due. You know, you can probably set up additional payment plans. That way it won't be too much of a burden. Maybe set up some type of installments. That way it doesn't feel like a heavy hammer coming down, especially during this crisis. I would still ask, personally.
Okay, anyone else want to weigh in on that one?
Yeah, I think that there's like Vicki said, there's a lot of ways to approach that. You could even give a generous hand, right? Like, we're going to extend all payments 30 days from now, or please let us know if you're in a hardship situation and we'll work with you on a payment plan. But yeah, I think business is business, and we perform services for income and to cover our expenses, you know, as businesses. So keeping it professional and honest, I think is a good way to go. Uh-oh. I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. Yes, Chrissy, did you want to ask a question?
I did. So this actually pertains to, I believe, 2 of the 3 of you. In terms of contracts, so it was indicated that, you know, someone is under contract, and yes, they in fact are still going to have to move forward. Given that, I also have a contract-based business as an event planner, and my industry is getting hit quite hard because you can't execute events with ordinances of 10 or fewer individuals, unless that was the plan initially. However, most contracts that I have come across in the last 15 years, at least in my industry, have two clauses in almost every one of them, and they are the act of God clause and the force majeure clause. Every contract for every business is different. However, both of those clauses actually get enacted if there's like an act of God or some sort of situation, and unfortunately the pandemic actually is included in that. And so therefore, depending on how people's contracts are written, even if someone is under contract, having a national emergency situation that we are going through right now, this crisis falls under that. And so people have the option of backing out of contracts because essentially both parties, for neither reason, it's not the company's fault, nor is it the fault of the contracting party, are unable to produce the contractual agreements. And so therefore they could walk away. And so revenue is really dropping, at least in my industry. That's why we're really trying to postpone things as opposed to cancel. But how are you guys dealing with that in your own industries? And is it something that you've thought about? Seeing that particularly in the fitness industry, like that you were just saying, as of right now, people are still working out and no one's really backed out of their contracts, but it is still a viable option for, unfortunately, anyone who's signed contracts with anyone at this point because of these enactments of these clauses. And so I was just wondering how you are addressing this moving forward. And it kind of gets thrown out to everyone, probably with the exception of the restaurant that we're dealing with right now.
Okay. Who wants to take that one on? That was a very long question, Christy. That was great information. So how are you guys dealing with contracts? I think that would be more for Vicky. Do you have contracts that were in place before the crisis that you had to deal with?
So yes, of course, we are in a area where our contracts are about 16 to 20 pages long. And they do have areas for uncertain situations, such as disasters and so forth. A lot of under those contracts are basically the materials. So if we purchase something that is now yours and you would still be held liable due to the COVID-19 crisis, I don't know. And that's why I have lawyers.
Right.
Those positions, I cannot speak and I would not even try.
Right.
And my lawyers actually draft those contracts for these types of reasons.
Great. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, ladies. We're just about time. I want to share one last screenshot of everybody's today's speakers. Can you see this? Can you see this presentation? Great. Annie from Hearty Eats was joining us today. April, Marion, and Charlene from Movin Fitness, and Vicky Gray from New Chapter Home Improvement. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining us today. This presentation, this webinar will be saved on our Facebook page, as well as we're going to try to upload it on YouTube and to some of our providers' websites. Again, it was brought to you today by the Western Mass Business Technical Assistance Collaborative, including myself, Somali Hogan from the Small Business Development Center, the Center for Women in Enterprise, SCORE, Franklin County CDC, Valley Community Development, and Common Capital. And so thank you all for doing this today. We're funded by the Small Business Administration, the State of Massachusetts, and the University of Amherst. So we thank them for their support. They pay my salary. They help us be able to bring this type of programming to you. So you all have a good day. I hope you're able to move forward with your businesses and reach out should you need any help and advice. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.